The history of intelligence testing and who's involved. In 1904, the French government appointed a commission to find a way to identify students that needed special education. Alfred Binet and his doctoral student Theodore Simon designed a variety of tasks that were representative of children's abilities at various ages. This could then be used to decide what intellectual development a certain child had. Binet felt that intellectual development was affected by both environment and heredity. The Binet-Simon scale consisted of 30 tasks of increasing complexity. The easiest tasks could be accomplished by any child, even the severely retarded. For instance, the examiner may ask to shake hands with the child. Harder tasks included defining simple words, comparing two items, or repeating 7 random digits. In 1908, H. Goddard brought this scale to the United States and translated it into English. The Simon-Binet test was published in 1905. It's one of the first examples of an adaptive test, where the examiner uses what he knows about the child to decide where to begin the testing, and then only uses those items or questions that are appropriate. An example of this nowadays is the adaptive computer test, where if you answer a question, the computer then decides whether to give you a harder question or an easier question. This type of testing reduces the time needed by the interviewer and the child, and also decreases the frustration of using items that are too hard or too easy. In 1913, the United States Public Health Service administered a version of the test to immigrants arriving at Ellis Island. These professional researchers were studying eugenics and had a reason to decide how intelligent the immigrants were. Their results concluded that most of the Italians, Hungarians, Jews, and Russians were feeble-minded. Rather than challenging the validity of using the test in this manner, these results served to reinforce negative images of immigrants. Terman was a strong supporter of eugenics. In fact, in his doctoral thesis, he used mental tests to distinguish what he called unusually backward students from very bright students. In 1906, while at Stanford University, he published a revised scale specifically for American populations. In 1916, he adopted Stern's suggestion that the traditional ratio between mental age and chronological age should be multiplied by 100 to get rid of the decimals. The resulting intelligence quotient, or IQ, is the same as we use it now. The formula is IQ is equal to your mental age divided by your chronological age times 100. If your mental age is 27 and your chronological age is 35, plugging it into this formula then gives you an IQ of less than 100. Robert Yerkes was a major in the Army, a psychologist, and also the head of the American Psychological Association, now known as the APA. Yes, as in APA format. He was tasked by the Army to develop a test that could be given to new recruits to determine their intelligence and their fitness for being placed as officers, enlisted men, or other. Since the Simon-Binet test was so expensive and took so much time to give individually, this group test was an answer that they were looking for. Yerkes and his staff developed 2 tests. The Army Alpha test was a written test for recruits that could read, while the Beta test was given orally. If a recruit could not pass or even attempt the Beta test, then an individual interview was given. These
A lot of times they come to us with just a bunch of symptoms and we don't know which direction to take. So we do the testing, we try to rule some things in and out. And from there, with the scores, the information is then forwarded on to the psychiatrist as well as their therapist that works with them. And from that step, they can make a better determination as to what actually is going on.
Watch me. I'd like you to make the top of your blocks look like mine.
The block design subtest, that helps us determine IQ scores, a lot of their cognitive function. It also helps determine working memory, their ability to sustain and maintain information, and then processing speed allows us to determine how quickly they learn new information. From that, what we do is we then administer another test, which is the Wyatt, and that's more of an achievement test. So we'll be able to determine their reading score, math, spelling,